It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
High fly ball, right field. Grossman back, track, wall, see ya! Into the second deck. A grand slam the other way for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees are pouring it on.
For the latest news throughout the sports world, tune in to Sports Talk with R&J every Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast, Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, Devil Woman. But speaking of those Lakers, but I hold on, stun. But I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win. Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drawing About the G-Men. Didn't put together a special intro because it was a disappointing week for the Giants, not only on the field. I mean, not only just the score and the loss itself, the loss of Saquon, Danny Galladay, Daniel Jones, already didn't have Shep. It's just everywhere. Everyone's gone. Everyone's getting hurt. And I mean, you can't be too upset with the loss because it was 10-10 and then Daniel Jones got hurt and then everything spiraled out of control. So, I mean, they were competitive when Daniel Jones was in there, but I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot to take away when half your team's injured. But what do you think of the game, Joe?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was to the point of ridiculous. Kenny Galladay obviously also knocked out of this one, killed me in one of my fantasy leagues, so that was great. That ridiculous throw to Saquon where he sprained his ankle, I mean, the whole thing was regrettable. Daniel Jones, I don't know. I love when he scrambles. I hate the end of all of his scrambles. I mean, he's like an idiot. Can they practice him ending a scramble where he doesn't either fumble or get his head knocked in? Can this guy slide? How hard is that?
He can't slide in that situation. He has to go head first. You need a touchdown. He slide. You lose yards if he slides.
He can't. He can.
From the 1 yard line, he loses yards. You're rolling out. It's
not worth it. Not worth it. Giants aren't a good enough team to lose their starting quarterback, and I think Daniel Jones needs to recognize how important he is to being there. We joked a lot about Mike Glennon last year. He's terrible. He's a terrible quarterback. The idea the Giants went into this season with that guy as their backup after the disaster that was Colt McCoy last year. Why?
No.
There's better guys out there. There's better guys out there that could hold your clipboard and jump in that might want an opportunity to resurrect a career. There's guys out there that are way better than Mike Glennon. This team's in big trouble. Daniel Jones might play this week. We saw injured Daniel Jones last year. Awful. I don't want Saquon back there as a half-hearted decoy. Useless.
No.
I don't know what this team's in big trouble. Like I said last week, I got a feeling that Bears pick is going to be a 20s. And our pick's going to be the top 5. This team's in big trouble right now. They really got to get it together. I mean, still they can't complete a pass or convert on third down. They play like a bad team on third down. And when they're on defense, they're a bad team on third down. They don't convert and they can't stop people on third down. That's why you're 1-5. And that's why it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah. I mean, it's the injuries. I mean,
and the Blake Martinez thing is so huge. I mean, my goodness. You know, I was talking on Keys of the City on Monday about Trey Crowder and Ragland. I mean, they looked confused a couple of times out there. They looked confused, and I give Trey Crowder a lot of credit for going in there and calling that defense, but there was a couple of times where, I don't know, he looked like he was a little bit lost, and it resulted in big plays. That's a big, giant loss for them. I mean, not only is Blake Martinez the leader of this defense, I mean, one of the best middle linebackers in the league, and that's a huge loss. You take Saquon, Galladay, Jones, Kadarius Toney apparently is a little banged up too. None of those guys. Yeah. You're
the entire offense.
What chance do you have? And here's the worst part: offensive line's playing pretty great.
Yeah,
they're getting the job done. No sacks again,
even without Andrew Thomas, which was wild. But I do think one under the radar miss for the Giants. Jabril Peppers getting injured. I think that's a lot bigger, and a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about it because he was a captain of that defense. I think once he gets healthy, he might be able to change some stuff. But yeah, the Blake Martinez one was big. It's just all about getting healthy now, and right now, especially with the 1-4 start. I mean, this is a tank for Tibbs time, in my opinion. But
oh my god,
it's just hard, Zay.
You guys kill me with this every year. Here we go again. You realize last year we were in the same position, in the same game, at the same point in the season. I hate to break this to you, and we still ended up turning it around and almost winning the division. And Joe sounded just as funeralistic last year as he did this year. Come on, people, pay attention. The Giants aren't that bad. I'm more worried about the Cowboys, if anything. You're talking about Mike Glennon. They came in, and he looked like he is a crappy quarterback. And guess what? He was still able to move the ball down the field. He was still able to put the Giants in positions to score a couple of times, and they probably missed a couple of opportunities, which he obviously threw the interception a little early. That could have been another scoring drive. He got down there again. You had the issue where they had the 3-and-out, and then they had the touchdown that one last drive. So it could have been, if Daniel Jones had stayed in the game, I agree with you, Jace. It could have been a game like it was. But Mike Glennon becoming in there and showing that we still have something with all these injured players, I'm not too worried about the Giants at all. Like I said, the defense was junk last year until this week, and then all of a sudden they flipped the switch and became a top 10 defense in the league. So these things happen. It takes time. My biggest fear is if the Giants season continues this way and they decide to part ways with Joe Judge, they're not going to look far for their next coach. He's sitting in the room with them. I know you guys disagree with me, but the Giants will put Jason Garrett as head coach. You can make that face all you want. They will do it. And
no, they won't.
Turn position in the beginning, and then they will move him into it and use it as an excuse to save money and get places, fill positions elsewhere. We've seen Gettleman do it before, and this is just the same thing going to happen all over again. Pay attention to what's going on. If the Giants don't turn this around, that will be Jason Garrett's team. That's the biggest fear. But I do have belief the Giants will turn it around. I overtalked and said they win by 2 touchdowns last week. I was going off of the hype, but that's what you're supposed to do as a Giants fan. But again, pray they turn it around.
If Joe Judge gets fired, though, Gettleman's out the door too. It's not going to be his decision.
I'm not too sure on that neither. Again, you're talking about Gettleman really hasn't brought terrible talent to his team. It hasn't been a talent issue with the team. It's been keeping talent on the field for the most part, but it hasn't been a talent issue. He's brought pretty good talent to the team. Even when he brought over Williams, nobody wanted him last year. He ended up being one of the best linemen we have. So he's not going anywhere. He brings talent. You're more worried about the Cowboys? Yeah,
Explain what that means.
I'm more worried
Just
for
out
the
of
Cowboys.
curiosity.
Yeah, their
If the
record to
Giants-
show for is terrible.
If the
It doesn't
Giants
matter
could
the
bring in
talent on
a second
paper.
unit and score on the Cowboys, who's supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, no, you're not. You're not a Super Bowl contending team when our garbage can go out there and still basically compete and still play a game with you. That's what scares me. And I've always said the Cowboys are always going to fall off a cliff like they always do. They're the best team in a worse division. They haven't won a championship in 30 years, and it's going to continue to keep going down that same path. So I'm not too worried about the Cowboys. They will fall off this cliff. I'm more worried about the Cowboys, like I said, than the Giants. We've seen the Giants numerous times. Slow starts, find a way to come in the middle, and then that's when they get to the point where either they're going to push it through or they're going to fall off. And that's always been the Giants. But as far as the Cowboys, I'm waiting for the cliff to fall off. It's coming. I'm waiting for the cliff they're going to fall off. I'm telling you it's coming.
This is different. Dak's here all year long. They're going to be a contender. I think they're just pulling away.
Explain it.
And this was. I wish. I want to be with you, Zay. I want to.
Bro,
I don't like
I'm going
the
off of
Cowboys.
history of facts. Since 1995, they haven't shown me that it's ever going to change. They haven't shown me that. So
Okay.
I'm going to continue to go over that.
All right. That's 1995. We're in 2021 now.
What does that
Welcoming on Trevor Keys. Now, Trevor, who's going to get fired first? Jason Garrett or Joe Judge?
Well, Joe Judge, I don't think Joe Judge is going to get fired. Look, what happened on Sunday is just, it's unfortunate. Like, you can't blame Jason Garrett, you can't blame Joe Judge for Saquon Barkley going down or Daniel Jones having a concussion or Kenny Golladay getting hurt. Like, that was just, you knew the game was over. It was just, you take the loss and you move on from it and you learn from it and you try to do whatever you can to survive right now. The Giants are in a tough situation. The schedule's not getting any better, and you just lost your three top weapons. I don't expect Jones to play this week, and I wouldn't bring him back yet. Saquon's going to be out for at least a month or so. Golladay might be out for a couple weeks, and your left tackle, who's been playing at an all-pro level, was out too. So it was I guess it was a demise from the start for the Giants. So I'm not blaming Joe Judge. I'm not blaming Jason Garrett for Sunday. Dallas is just in another level right now. They should run away in the NFC East, and feels like a different team. I know. Look, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. I root for Russia over the Dallas Cowboys, but this team seems and that's serious. I hate everything about the Dallas Cowboys, but they are legit. They are a legit team. Dak looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Zeke, they're getting that running attack going, and when that running attack is lethal with Tony Pollard and him, that's a scary combination, and we've seen it before in the past. The reason why I would say they have a legit chance too, yes, their defense isn't like outstanding, but it's vastly improved. You got studs in the back end of that defense led by Trayvon Diggs, who looks like a legit bona fide star for the next 10 to 12 years as corner. Micah Parsons, boy.
Oh, they repeated it. Oh, Lord. All right.
Go ahead. I'm waiting
for the film. He was beating him like a drum on routes. He was beating Diggs on. Come on.
Okay, congratulations. That's great, but he's
terrible. All right.
So you still
got a nose for the ball.
He's leading the league in interceptions.
So you're still not good. You don't give him any credit.
League in interceptions. Okay, you got a couple of balls thrown his way early. That's okay. It doesn't mean
okay,
nothing.
Zay, what nonsense are you going to do this week? Because we should have a segment called Zay's Nonsense.
He's not. Y'all throwing him up there like he's some. Okay, all right.
I'm not saying
nothing. In December, when the Cowboys fall off that cliff, come back on the show. Then I'll go on.
Guess what? They're still going to win the NFC East comfortably.
I can't even say that. I can never say any team can win the NFC comfortably. I'll never say that any team can win the NFC East.
I didn't say the NFC.
I will never the NFC East. I would never say any team can win that.
Who do you think is going to contend with the Cowboys?
Please tell me. Enlighten me. Give me something.
Again, this division is funny like that. You don't know it till the end. I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division last year. I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division last year. The Redskins weren't that great. The Cowboys didn't have anybody, and the Eagles were
the Redskins.
Excuse me, the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying?
Down, Gruden.
I swear I thought the Giants were going to run away with the division. It's not going to happen. This division doesn't do that. This division is tricky. It plays games on us.
Then who's gonna be that one to knock them off? Then
I want to ask a question. Who's Anthony Price? Cowboys haven't really played anybody good. They beat the LA Chargers. They should have beat the Buccaneers in week 1 if their kicker makes an extra point or a field goal. I mean, they were the better team against the Buccaneers. They should be realistically 6-0 right now.
Just like the Chiefs, the Buccaneers haven't looked that impressive. Yeah, they're 6-0,
but they should be legit 5-0. Anthony Price, I don't know what you're watching either then, because they've beaten some solid opponents so far early on in the season.
Yeah, I feel like you're just saying every team in the NFL isn't impressive, Zay.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said they're 6-0. I said they don't look impressive, just like the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't look impressive. The Chiefs are.
I agree with that one.
They don't look.
I wouldn't say the Bucs or Cowboys don't look impressive,
in my opinion. But they're still. The Chiefs are still up there as a contender.
You probably think the Broncos are impressive, right? Because Teddy Bridgewater is there.
I think no, I don't. I said it in the beginning. I don't. But I did think Teddy Bridgewater could take them to the playoffs. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, but I do believe he's a solid enough quarterback to take them to the playoffs.
So who do you
and
think?
By the way, that's his best bet and his lock of the week.
Yeah,
Teddy and the Broncos. I'm just playing.
I'm saying who?
No, I'm just playing. Say no. Listen.
Who has been? Hold on. I want to ask Zay. Who has been impressive to you then?
This year?
No, 2 years ago.
I mean, Jameis Winston has looked impressive to me. He's had his up and down. He's had his ups and downs. Again, he had his ups and downs, but he's looked he's looked impressive. This is I'm judging the guy on his first year in a real stable situation. This is a situation where it's not hectic like Tampa. Tampa was a little eerie. This is his first stable year. So I can't judge it too hard. But from what
I'm not talking about a player. I'm talking about a
what
team.
I've seen now, I've seen dramatic improvement. So I am impressed by that. That's what I am saying. I'm not saying he's.
I'm talking about.
I want to get MVP.
I'm talking about a team. Who's been impressive to you as a team, not a player?
Who's been impressive to me as a team? I don't know. I think honestly, a lot of teams have been starting off slow out the game. I'm gonna be honest. I thought the Bills. You gotta understand. Just because your record is good doesn't mean your team has been playing impressive. You could just be lucking out in games. The Giants could be.
So the Bills have been lucking out.
Could easily be 4-1 and still not look impressive. And am I making? You're making a face. They should have beat the Broncos. There's no reason they should have. They should have beat Atlanta, and they lost on a field goal, which wasn't on all sides. The Giants could easily be 4-1, and again, they don't look impressive, even if they were 4-1.
You know what? Let me speak to Zay's point for a minute. You're right. The Giants could be 4-1, and they would still have the same flaws. They would still have the same problem. You're exactly right. Look, like I said earlier, they still lose the time of possession battle every game. That happens every game. They still don't convert on third down, and they don't stop anybody on third down. So whether they're 1-5 or whatever the record is, they still would have the same problems. You know what I'm saying? And with these injuries, again, it just compounds things. But yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying, Zay, to a point.
What I'm saying is your record doesn't necessarily mean your team is playing impressive.
Correct.
The Giants, again, are a team. I've said it many times. They deal with bad luck. They're not a bad team.
No, listen. Bad luck. you guys might recall from week 15 right through the Super Bowl, I said I didn't like the way the Chiefs looked. I saw a lot of flaws in the Chiefs, and they got to the Super Bowl, and then they got lit up and exposed, and it's been a rough start. I was very concerned about that team. You know, trying to revamp an offensive line. Defense has gotten progressively worse. That backfield's really never been settled for the Chiefs. And Mahomes is he, you know, as great as he is, he's only a human being. He's not magic. I know he throws the ball underhand and behind his whatever. He's a human being, and he can only do so much. And if they look, every team's got the same problems. I was laughing on Monday. ESPN acted like Lamar Jackson is now the greatest passing quarterback of all time, and he had a great game. But let's be honest with ourselves. Despite that one great passing game, you're still a little concerned about Lamar throwing the football. And let me remind everybody, the only reason he threw the ball that much was because they were getting destroyed. And he had to throw the ball. And he's fortunate that Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews had huge games because, see, the ESPN was spinning it that he made them have great games. And I would say if he didn't have the good talent around him, he gets Bateman back. Things are only going to get better there. They gave the excuse of the running backs, the defense, all the same problems Daniel Jones has. All the same problems and issues Jones has, Lamar has. But despite Daniel Jones having a similar passing game last week to what Lamar did this past week, treated completely different. I like Lamar Jackson. He's great. I still say he's suspect throwing the football week to week. So I don't listen. One game doesn't make a season. 6 games don't make a season, Zay. You're right. This is a weird division. Weird stuff happens. Just remember a couple years ago when the Eagles just could not give this thing away fast enough? They had the division and they were like, we're going to figure out how to make someone else win it. This is a weird division. Teams usually get within a game, like they can clinch 3 games to go, and they somehow find a way of not doing it. So, as far as the Giants turning it around to where Zay thinks they'll contend, that's not happening. Washington doesn't strike me as being in a real good
this year.
Defenses. Yeah, that might be a bigger surprise than how bad the Giants are. 3 Super Bowls in 10 years. 2 of them were Eagles, like one and doneers. Who was the other team that won a Super Bowl?
What are you talking about?
Giants.
He said 3 in 10 years. Who's
in
the
10
third
years?
one?
The Giants won 20.
What about the Giants?
Oh,
twice
it's not 10,
and
it's
then
2 in the last 10 years.
Yeah, fine.
No,
decade.
It's only
2.
Yeah.
Listen here. Look,
14 years ago now.
No, but in the span of 10
How many
years.
divisions can you really count Super Bowls in every year?
I was going to say, listen, slow down either way. Look, this is a tough division. It's been garbage the last 2 years, but let's be honest. Nobody wants to face the winner of the NFC East in the playoffs. The Bucs barely survived Washington last year. I mean, the NFC East, we look, we know this division. It's always been like this.
Yeah.
Always been like this. It's always an 11-5, a 10-6 will win you the NFC East. It's a dogfight every year. I just don't. I don't know if the Giants have enough puppies.
I don't see anybody in this division competing with Dallas.
Yeah, listen, Sanders said it, and if you don't see a massive improvement in Dallas, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. You haven't seen improvements. And I said to Joe the other day, yesterday on the show, the only thing that's stopping Dallas from legit being Super Bowl champions is not their players, it's their head coach. And I believe that. I do not have faith in Mike McCarthy as a head coach and the coaching staff. Talent-wise, they're just as talented as anybody in this league. That offense is just as good as anybody in this league. And their defense, Dan Quinn has vastly improved that defense to a point that they can contend to winning a Super Bowl. And trust me, I would not want to see the Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl. It's one of my biggest nightmares in sports.
You don't have to worry about that.
But it's realistic. This year it feels different. It feels different. I know they haven't won in 21 years, but it feels a little different.
Also, nobody said they're going to win the Super Bowl. Saying they're a Super Bowl contender doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think it means that listen, that offense is what it would have been. Look, Dak was off to a historic start before he got hurt last year. To me, listen, Zeke's playing great. Tony Pollard is such an amazing complementary back. They've got a ton of receiving weapons, and that defense last year, and there's a bunch of Cowboys fans watching right now, garbage, yes? Garbage. This thing has gotten infinitely better. Like you said, Trevor, Micah Parsons, why the Giants passed on that guy, no clue.
How the Giants passed on him or Slater.
Unbelievable. Yeah, again, well, I could live without Slater now that Thomas is starting to realize his thing. But again,
no, but not even that. You could have had him and Tom. I mean, if we never thought Thomas was going to play to the level he's been playing so far, I mean, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. But imagine having just that right tackle style. You have your 2 bookend tight tackles for the next 10 to 12 years. Oof.
See, I said garbage. He said trash. Same page. Yeah, Sanders says trash, Joe. We were franchise record worst. Yeah, that defense got much better really fast. Mm-hmm. Is it good enough to compete with the Bucs or the Rams or the Cards? I don't think so right now, but I'm like you, Zay, you got to prove it to me now. But to me, yeah, look, I mean, I hate to say this because I hate them too, but I can see Dallas 13-4 reasonably in this division, and there's no obviously the Giants at this point mathematically couldn't get to that level, so it's gonna be
there's a legitimate chance that they sweep the division this year. I don't see the Eagles, Washington, or the Giants beating maybe even 5-1, but their division record is going to be really good. And like Joe said, I mean they might give up the yards per game still, not as bad as last year, but they get takeaways. I think they lead the league in takeaways now. their pass rush has improved a lot with Micah Parsons. Randy Gregory being back is huge for them. And then their offensive line is back to the Dallas offensive line that
they don't even have Leo Collins either.
Exactly. They're without probably, I mean, one of their best tackles. And I mean, I don't know. I get what you're saying, Zay, but think about it. A couple years ago, we didn't think the Eagles were ever going to win a Super Bowl. They had never won one before that, and they ended up winning one. So I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to win it this year, but I do agree that they're a contender, and this is the best they've looked in a long time.
Well, here's also the reason why
the Eagles started that year terrible and turned it around. No matter they started okay, then they turned it around, and then
the year they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't start off great. It looked rough in the beginning.
They did.
Carson Wentz was
not record-wise. As a team, they started off looking shaky, and then they got going, and then they had the quarterback get hurt, and then they did the quarterback switch. The reason he got hurt was
hold on. Carson Wentz was the MVP until he didn't. There was no quarterback switch. He shattered his leg.
Yes, and then that's the quarterback hurt. He got switched again. If he didn't, he got hurt because again he holds the ball too long, and it was the issue in the first couple of weeks because he had the issue with him holding the ball too long. He was forcing plays. There were issues. The offense didn't look that great in the beginning, and then he started to figure it out. Then he got injured. Then they brought Foles in, and then they got on this momentum, this run. That's
they were the number one the seed in the playoffs, right?
I never said record.
So listen,
You're not listening to what I said. I said play wise. Was criticized for holding the ball way too much, causing turnovers, doing all types of stuff. What?
I'm going to help you out right now. Everybody remember last year when Pittsburgh was 11-0 and we knew they weren't that good, and then they lost 5 in a row and the playoff game back to back to Cleveland. You guys remember that? That's what he's talking about. Again, you could be 10-1 and you could be throwing for 354 touchdowns a game, but if you've got a turnover issue, if there's some issues, if your defense, you can still be a team that's winning close games and be off to a 10-1 start. Again, we thought from about week 8 on, we were waiting for the Steelers to start losing games. And then they just started happening in bunches. So I get what you're saying.
All I'm saying is, they were the number 1 seed, but what I'm saying is Wentz was criticized in the beginning for his holding the ball too much. He was causing turnovers, all types of stuff in the beginning. Then eventually he righted that ship. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say they were losing games. I never said they was at the bottom of the division. Y'all are jumping the gun. I said Carson Wentz didn't start off that great. He figured it out, got on a roll. That's when he became MVP. He got his MVP year. He got hurt. He got hurt holding the ball too long, matter of fact. That's literally how he got hurt.
It was running into the end zone.
He was holding the ball too long. He should have got rid of it way longer than that, and that's how he got hurt.
He ran for
it was on a run.
Bro, he was rolling out of the pocket when he got.
Here's
the clip of when he gets hurt again. I have the clip. He was rolling out of the pocket, and he was
all right.
Once
I'll be honest, I don't even care at this point.
Here's the thing
at
I
all
to say about
the 2018 Eagles. Let's move on here.
Yes. Let me say one quick thing about the Dallas Cowboys. Give me one more thing about why the Dallas Cowboys have a legit shot. You said their defense is vulnerable. Well, Tampa's defense is very vulnerable this year too. They have injuries. The only defense that might be legit so far are the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams have been inconsistent. Their defense has been up and down. And the Green Bay Packers defense, these are the 5 teams legit have a shot of going to an NFC championship game and maybe getting to a Super Bowl. Those are the 5 teams I can see in the NFC right now. All those defenses other than the Cardinals right now have major question marks. So with the saying of, Dallas's defense, I don't trust them. Do you trust Tampa's D? Do you trust the Packers D right now? Or how about the Rams D right now?
I don't trust the Tampa D, and that's why I told you could be 4-1 and still not look good. You could still have flaws. This is what I'm saying. Tampa's 4-1, and they can easily be 1-4. They could have lost a ton of games already. The only definitive game I'd say they won was Miami against the Dolphins. That's the only definitive game. They could have lost the Atlanta. Atlanta was on the comeback trail. They damn near pulled that one off. They, like you said, they should have lost to Dallas the first week. They haven't looked great. They've had moments where they've looked good, but they haven't looked great, and that's what I'm saying. You could be 4-1, you could be 3-2, but you don't necessarily look great. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a bad team. I'm not going to say you're going to end bad. You're going to lose the division. You could be 4-1 and still not look good, and that's Tampa to me. They're 4-1, but they don't look that great.
You're right. You could be, but what comes down to it is the wins.
More in the NFC than Dallas.
I just said
Cardinals.
it. Other than maybe the Cardinals, they all
Any
are.
of the NFC West.
I don't. Everyone is shaky, bro.
Cardinals.
I'm not on anyone's boat to throw anyone as a lead dog. Everyone is shaky. It can change any week. I'm not throwing anyone a lead dog. I'm sorry.
All right. Now, let's take a step back. Let's go back to the Giants and let's preview this matchup. I mean,
good luck.
Yeah. Any way the Giants going, guys?
Yeah, if Mike Glennon becomes a freaking Dan Marino.
Well, Daniel Jones is looking to play.
If they're smart, like they did with Andrew Thomas, I wouldn't bring back Daniel Jones just yet. You want to make sure he's 100% because he has been playing well so far this season when healthy. I want to make sure he's 1,000% healthy. I know that it's the Rams. This is and their offensive line. Who knows if Thomas plays? We just saw how the offensive line looked against Dallas. Nate Solder, please God. Nate Solder is a good human being, a great, fantastic man, but he is not a good left tackle. He is atrocious. Mm-mm. It's a terrible signing from Dave Gettleman, one of the worst signings he's had, and he's had bad signings. It's a terrible signing, and it shows a difference of how valuable Andrew Thomas has actually been for the New York Giants this year. He probably is the most valuable New York Giant so far in 5 weeks because of the way Daniel Jones' success is because he's had protection. So with the way Nate Solder played last week, I don't want Daniel Jones. If Andrew Thomas can't play, I don't want Daniel Jones playing this week. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't want him playing regardless. Him coming up wobbling like that after he got concussed, it would be smart to hold him out this week, especially when you're facing Aaron Donald up front. No, thank you. I'd rather.
He looked like a 20-year-old after leaving the bar after a couple of Four Locos.
Exactly.
Yeah, he had reindeer
legs. Looked good. Can't handle their liquor. That's what he looked like, and it was a scary situation because you never want to see your quarterback like that. Any player, let alone.
The Giants it'd be a full team effort in order for them to pull this one off. It had to be a full team effort, and Jones to me playing. The difference between this year and last year, it was a hamstring issue. It's very hard to throw the ball when you don't have your legs underneath you. It's hard to be accurate. It's hard to put force behind it. This isn't necessarily a injury that should affect his skill necessarily, but his mental stability. So I don't know how the Giants are going to handle it. If they feel mentally he's in the right place, I think you have to give him the shot and give your team a chance at least in this division. But it's going to take a team effort either way, full total team effort because they're not going to be at full strength.
No, the only hope is I don't know a field goal battle.
Tony, if he goes for 250
Evan
yards.
Ingram. Put him at wide out. He goes off for 3 touchdowns.
Oh God,
he had a nice catch last week.
He's been playing quietly good. After all the crap I've talked about him through the years, the last few games he's been quietly good. He hasn't fumbled. He's made catches, and he's just done his business. So, I'm not gonna say much about him.
But he's like our only hope now for the Giants. At least in this game, I always pick the Giants. I'm gonna say they win off a field goal battle.
Oh my God. Jace, be realistic with yourself. I know you're a Giant fan. I'm a Giant fan too. Be realistic.
I was the best at picks this last year on the show, and I picked the Giants every year. So I will put the blind spot up for my teams, but all the other stuff, I know my stuff. So I'll take it. Whatever. But let's take a break.
Keep patting yourself on the back for that one. At least you got to win something. You're not good at your fantasy locks, I bet, either.
No, that's me. I'm terrible at fantasy locks.
You're not good at fantasy locks this year. Jason's been
leave before that segment.
All right. Let's take a look at stuff going on around the league. Take a break from the Giants. We got to talk about John Gruden resigns from the Raiders after racist, homophobic, and misogynistic emails surfaced. Now, I'm going to be honest. His big lips comment. Like, I understand how that looks terrible, and it's not in a business setting. But, Joe, we talked about this on Throwing Jabs. It's about context. He was talking about him about running his mouth about, like, rumors and stuff. So I understand.
So listen, the original excuse was that he refers to people who tell lies and spread rumors, who run their mouth, as you say, as rubber mouths or rubber lips. That is very different than Michelin lips. Michelin tires, and I won't get into it, but look what a Michelin tire looks like and tell me you don't understand what he was getting at. But for a minute, let's go beyond the racism. There was also homophobic comments and misogynistic comments. This is not a good guy. And I don't think anybody ever thought John Gruden was a good person. Like at all. Urban Meyer's not a good human being. Dan Mullins isn't a good human being. I would suspect Nick Saban probably isn't. I would. I mean, there's something about these guys and controlling these big-time programs that when they leave, they think that they can tell anybody and everybody what to do and what they're thinking. But it's 2021, and you can't do that. Now, mind you, these were comments from 10 years ago, and I was just talking about this in All Four Downs, but I've already heard from a lot of people, they're going to start checking our emails now. No one's checking your Yahoo, dumbass. No one's going to check your Gmail account. We're not going to go look at your MySpace account. But if you work for a corporation, and most of you, let's be honest, you've never worked in a corporation. You have no idea what you're talking about. You send racist emails or homophobic emails on company email, you're a douchebag and an idiot. There was a scandal some years ago. I talked about this in All Four Downs. Some high-profile people at ESPN got canned sharing porn on their work emails. That's how corporate America's always worked. It's always been very PC in the corporate world. The rest of America caught up like 5 years ago. Yeah. So everybody calm down. And anybody who's defending John Gruden, get help. John Gruden doesn't give a shit about anybody except for John Gruden. And that's been very obvious his entire coaching career.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like 100 times worse, especially him this year coming at Carl Nassib being one of the first openly gay players, having him on his team. And then like with the racist comments, like how much of that locker room is people of color? Like, how are you going to get a new job now? How are you going to coach a team when most of the locker room, even if it's at like Tennessee or some other like college or something, like I don't see how he can come back from this at all.
I got you on that one, Jace.
Yeah?
I got you an answer for that one, Jace.
Okay.
Because this is white privilege at its fullest being shown, and I'm glad I get to finally speak on this because I've been irritated for a while. What John Gruden says completely out of line. He shouldn't have been allowed to resign. He shouldn't have been able to get any money out of his contract left. He should have been fired on the spot, terminated, removed, and he should have been left whatever money he had as is. But John Gruden is unfortunately a white male in America, and he'll probably take a couple of years off, and some radio station will probably give him a call or TV show or Bleacher Report or something like that, and they'll be like, hey, John Gruden, you want to do a sports betting show for us or something like that? And you'll sit there and listen to Gruden's bets or his picks for the week or something like that, because this is white America where you can continue to make these mistakes and get away with it. My biggest issue with this whole situation is the NFL acting like John Gruden resigning is the NFL doing African Americans a favor or moving the bar up for African Americans. No, you haven't moved the bar up for us. You haven't done anything for us. As far as Colin Kaepernick, you've given him a BS trial, and then you gave him some money just to throw it over just so we can cover that up if you want to do that. You don't hire black African American coaches. If you look at Atlanta last year, they should have had an African American coach, and now they've gotten rid of him, and now they can't even figure it out. So whatever, I'm not getting into that. And in the case of the Giants, we all complain about our offense. Well, if we had hired Eric Bieniemy, who's an African American coach, we probably wouldn't have an issue with our offense not being creative. But the issue is and continues to be that the NFL continues to drop the ball for African Americans. They will continue to always not give us the equal opportunity that they continue to present themselves as doing. And white America will continue to forgive people like John Gruden for his actions, no matter what he does. And this will just get thrown under the water within a couple of years. So to sit here and even give this story any type of fire or anything under it, it's nothing. It's a waste of time because Like I said, within a couple of years, we'll all forget about it. He'll get a new job somewhere, and he'll continue to make as much money as he's always continued to make in his career. That's just how it is in America.
I mean, I don't. I feel like we're in a different America. Like I don't see him bouncing back that quickly, and I don't see that happening. But who knows? I mean,
they already talked about it on the radio. They've already been saying it on the radio. Their company's talking to him already about trying to get him to do shows for them. Now that he doesn't have a job.
But that's not making the same money that he was coaching. I get what you're saying, Zach.
I can't get into the racist tension in America. This is not
get it.
For that, yeah, but
I get it,
deeper
Zach.
than that, bro. It's deeper than that.
I think we are at a point where he'll never be the same. He'll never be the same John Gruden, and people will never look at him the same. If he does even get to that spot, get back to where it was, if he goes and he coaches like the Jets or something, everyone will still always know who he actually is, who he truly is, and what he has down in his heart.
Jace, that's the problem. He gets the opportunity when guys who don't even have a mess up on their record can't even get an interview, can't get an opportunity. And John Gruden can continue to screw up, call people this, make fun of people at the highest level. In some cases in America, would be considered almost what's it called when you attack somebody? A racist attack? I don't want to throw the word off correct. Get the wording correct. A hate crime? Is that correct? Yeah. It's a hate crime is what it's called. Yeah. It's practically in other fields could have been considered a hate crime. Some of the things he did, but again, we'll get him another $1 million job coaching a football team of African Americans who continue to make your money for this business, and you continue to screw us at every inch you can. That's the issue. Because you take African Americans off that field, and what do you have? You got rugby. You got linemen playing rugby.
All right.
I don't think John Gruden's getting another job in the NFL though. I don't think he gets
a job in anything in this field anymore. And I said that on the show yesterday. And Joey, you thought he might, but I don't think so. I think he's done. I think his career's over with everything.
Listen, there's a reason Urban Meyer's in Jacksonville. And oh my goodness, who's the guy at Louisville?
Oh, Bobby
Italian guy.
Petrino.
No. Basketball.
Oh, Rick
Pitino.
Rick Pitino. If you're a Rick Pitino, I mean, Rick Pitino's been fired in scandal everywhere he's ever been. Now, Rick Pitino's a good coach, and he's white, as you said, Zay. There's going to be an opportunity for him. It might be at some small college somewhere, does it for a couple of years. The small school guy, hey, look, Pitino's at this. Next thing you know, right back where he needs to be. That's how the good old boy system works. That's what people who are social justice warriors are advocating for and about is the idea. And as they said, the NFL continues to do nothing for African Americans. A lot of lip service, or as John Gruden calls it, Michelin lips. It's unnecessary. You know, it's time to put up or shut up. You've got a league that's like 75% African American. And yet Urban Meyer will hire somebody like Jack Doyle, who was fired from the University of Iowa for being a racist, to coach a locker room that's about 95% African American. I mean, just the blatant disregard and disrespect just in hiring that guy.
The only reason he fired him is because he was getting backlash too. If he didn't get any backlash, he probably would have still had him on staff right now.
Hey, John Gruden the same.
By the way,
if there was no backlash, John Gruden would be still hired. He'd still be coaching.
Of course.
That team is winning. He'd still be coaching if there was no backlash.
So again, for everybody worried about, they were going through his email, they were investigating crimes committed by the Washington football team. Crimes. Actual crimes. And that's where they stumbled across the John Gruden trove. And again, anybody wants to defend John Gruden, my question to you is why? Do you think it's okay to be a dick? You think it's all right to mistreat people or look down on people? That's what you like. Well, again, the same people defending John Gruden are the same people I suspect who like Donald Trump. A leader that will look you in the face and tell you exactly what he thinks of you. the kind of leader that's never succeeded anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. So get over yourselves, everybody. John Gruden's made a ton of money taking a shit on everybody everywhere he's ever been. He'll be fine. And I promise you, he'll be back in the NFL before you know it.
If he does come back, like, I feel like the players got to speak up more. And you got to be more vocal about stuff like this. No, because a lot of them, they aren't.
What do you
shut up and dribble?
I can't. I think it's such an issue that goes so far over people's head that you really can't even address it because it's that.
Right.
I don't think people understand. You honestly, I hate to say it, I feel like you almost have to be African American some days to understand it, to feel it, and that's the bad part. It's like you don't really see it. They benefit off of us. They profit off of us. Patrick Mahomes, he's African American. Even though he looks like a little light-skinned boy, he's African American. He's your poster boy for the NFL. Yet you want to, you should. I can't.
All right.
Because I'm going to get into language I don't want to get into on the show. So
all right.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back with some football. All right. We'll be right back after this.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home serviced for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside flooding those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
Big shout out to Mosquito Shield for sponsoring our episode. Make sure you check them out. Sign up for their, the fall's coming, leaves coming down. They also have tick shield services. Make sure when you sign up for their services to tell them John about the G-Men sent you. Now, let's get back.
I think you get a discount, too, if you sign up now for the spring. But
let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Tell them we sent you, and we'll save you some money. Now, we were going to do top 5 after 5, but I was watching Keys to the City, and they did their top 5 power rankings. So,
so you're taking this? Oh, okay.
No, just who is the best in the NFL right now? The Cardinals, they're undefeated, but are they necessarily the best team, Joe?
Currently, yeah, I do think Arizona is the best team. I think the way that defense is played, like Trevor was saying before with J.J. Watt and Zach Allen, Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, who everybody knows. I love Budda Baker. It's a great defense. The offense right now is playing at such a high level. Obviously, Kyler Murray has got to be in the discussion for MVP. But I think right now, Arizona has played the best of everybody. And I don't just mean because they're undefeated. They've looked good in their games, and they've outplayed their opponents. And I think if you're asking what team can you trust on both sides of the football right now, that's one of the few teams I would say, yes, I feel that way. And Trev, did I have him number 1 on my ranking this week? I did. Yeah. So I do think that is the case. Yes.
All right. Trev, do you agree?
No, I actually have the Buffalo Bills, and the reason why I picked the Buffalo Bills is the way they finished the job on Sunday. I don't think a lot of teams in the NFL currently could go into Arrowhead and take care of a team that's been dominating the AFC and the NFL since Patrick Mahomes has taken the reins as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. The way their defense has been playing right now has been playing probably the best defense in all of football currently. I'd say the Cardinals and them right there match up evenly defensively. The thing that scares me about Buffalo still is that running attack. They got to get that going. They cannot be relying on – Josh Allen is a hell of a guy to rely on, but you got to have some sort of balance. Just look at what I keep saying, look at the Dallas Cowboys can do when you get a solid running attack. Balanced attack, they're dangerous. The Buffalo Bills, that was an extremely impressive victory on Sunday night. The way they did it, the way they took care of business, they went into a team that they haven't been able to beat. Guess what? They went into Arrowhead, and they dominated. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills right now. But the Arizona Cardinals, huge matchup this week, could change my perspective on them if they win this weekend.
Damn, I think those are the top two, to be honest. Sean, do you see it any different?
I agree the Cardinals are right up there, but I'm with Trevor. I think the Bills are the best team in football right now. Obviously, they had a really disappointing week 1 loss to the Steelers, but after that, they've been outscoring teams like crazy. They have the best score differential in the league right now at plus 108, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second closest team is the Cardinals at plus 62. So they've been blowing out teams. I mean, their defense has been playing great. They might have the best safety duo in the league. They have really talented linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano. Their pass rush has been getting it done surprisingly too this year. Gregory Rousseau has been showing up. Jerry Hughes has been pretty good. So this defense, they're loaded and they have a lot of talent. Tre'Davious White looks like the shutdown corner of old. He had a little bit of a rough year last year, but he's been balling out. And then Josh Allen, you can't say enough. He's got to be in MVP conversations right now. I think Emmanuel Sanders was a huge pickup for them. Dawson Knox has been showing up, and he's been one of the top tight ends in the league this year. And then obviously the connection with Stephon Diggs. So I think the Bills are the best team in the NFL right now. I think the Cardinals are definitely right there. I'd probably put them at number 2. But another team I would throw up there is the Ravens, just because the way Lamar Jackson is playing, they don't even have Rashad Bateman right now. Their running attack is absolutely unstoppable, and their defense has been playing well too. So I think that would probably be my top 3 right now. I think the Ravens, they've been in a lot of close games with not great teams, but I think Lamar Jackson has that killer instinct, and he showed it this year that he's going to win the game. So I'd put the Ravens right behind him. But, yeah, I think the Bills are the best team in football right now.
All right. Zay, you got the Jets here?
You know it. Nah. I think they hit it all on the head. If I had to throw a team in there, though, just so I didn't feel like I was following them, I'd probably say the Chargers. I really do like. I'm not a Justin Herbert fan, but he's starting to look really well. And he's starting to make me a believer. I wasn't a fan. I'm becoming a fan. I didn't like him out of college. Obviously, everyone wanted him to go to the Giants. I was on him, but apparently he's proven me wrong. And I mentioned before we had a show where we mentioned our top 5 players. Derwin James is definitely up there for me. I think he's been playing great this year. So I think when you combine those two, both have 2 studs like that on offensive defense, I think that helps your team out too. And that's part of the reason why they're 4-1. So I would probably throw the Chargers in that mix, not necessarily saying they're one of the best, not saying they're the best, but they're definitely one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I think those with the Ravens, that's a solid top 4. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it a lot last year, Joe, with the Bills and the run game. While it hasn't been like a big step forward, they're still averaging 30 more rushing yards per game, which is helping Josh Allen a lot, not have to carry the whole team on his back. And the defense leading in the top of the league in turnovers, like they're just so. I thought they were going to struggle after that week 1 loss to the Steelers, but
a lot of people have been saying that running game has gotten going a little bit with Singletary and Moss, but look at the numbers. The numbers would say that they're still struggling to run the football, and so
Josh Allen's their second leading rusher, by the way.
Yeah, it's that, to me, that's still an issue. And you've got 2 pretty good backs there. I'm not sure what the deal is and why they can't get it going. But again, I think for me, that's their biggest flaw from last season is still there. And I'm going to need to see a little more consistency from those 2 guys before I'm like problem solved. Because I think it can be. And I do think if they solve that and they could take that pressure off Josh Allen and really have a running game, that guy's dynamite. And that offense is already explosive. It'd be that much better. Certainly that defense much improved. Again, I give the nod to Arizona because I've seen it. I don't think there's any big flaws right now. Buffalo's just got the one. That's why they're my 1-2.
No, yeah, but I mean, it is still improving. Like, it's still a flaw, but it is better than last year. So
But it's still a note. It's still
Yeah,
noticeable.
still
that
noticeable.
They need to get that going because down in the playoffs and when they playing, you're going to be playing. If with the way things are going, you could be having home field advantage through Buffalo. You know how the weather goes in the north when it hits December, January. Well, and hopefully if they get to February or late January, it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy, rainy, snowy. Weather that you need to run the ball. You're going to have to get that going eventually. I know they look great. Josh Allen looks like the favorite as the MVP right now, but you got to get that running game going.
Yep, you're right, and we'll see.
We actually don't get the snow yet until like February, but
that's why I said the North. I said the whole North. I wasn't talking just Buffalo. I was talking the whole Northeast, the great Northeast. God, I'm not going to have to deal with that stuff anymore, boys.
You lucky duck down in Florida. But all right. Now, let's get into best bets. And
we have to?
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zay.
It's part of the show.
Oh, man, Sean. We took it.
Zay, you started off really hot, didn't you? 2-0.
For the record, I had that one last week, and then
and you
football happened.
You mocked my Bengals Packers pick, and you said definitely not going to be tied for long.
Again, I said Sean to be at the top. It's Sean at the top.
Yeah, you also said you'd be there with him. But Joe finally getting his second win.
Yeah, it was a while. I'm
Joe.
bouncing back. It's funny. We just did all 4 downs before this. I was 6-14 to start the season, and where am I at now, Jace? Second place, 1 game back of OV. Yeah. So I start slow. I'm like the Giants. In Zay's mind, I start slow, and then I make the big run at the end for the championship.
Okay. Is this going to start your run right here? Cowboys -3.5 at the Patriots?
Yeah, the Cowboys are easily going to beat the Patriots, and everybody knows how much I love me some Mac Jones, but the Cowboys definitely win this one by more than a field goal, so bank it.
It's so hard for me to see the Patriots go 0-4 at home, though, to start the season. But just like this isn't the typical Cowboys we're used to. It's not the typical Patriots we're used to. So, Zay, I know you. Do you think the Patriots can keep it close and cover that 3.5?
Yeah, they kept it close against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, so they should be able to keep it close against the Cowboys. I mean, if anything, Belichick knows Brady, and if they were able to keep it close with Belichick basically knowing what he was going to throw at him, I don't see why he shouldn't be able to keep it close against the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback, but he's not at the level of Tom Brady. I don't think, nor will he ever be there. So I think the Patriots can find a way to stay in this game.
Nobody will ever get to Brady status. Nobody will ever get to Brady status.
I don't think anybody will. No, it's impossible. Yeah, you'd have to play forever. It's Patrick Surtain's son is playing. Brady was playing with Patrick Surtain. It's not ridiculous. You can't reach that level. So, yeah, definitely think the Patriots can keep it close, though. They're not that bad of a team.
I don't know.
I think this is going to be a blowout.
I said that about the Broncos.
I have that feeling too, but this is a weird number by Vegas. The -3.5. Sometimes Vegas knows some weird things, and I would feel like it's a blowout too, but I
don't know.
That's why I stayed away from this one.
I don't know. New England's got to score, got to score 6. They got to be scoring 7. They can't be kicking field goals. This is an offense that is clicking right now, and they're at an all-time peak. They're gelling, running the ball, passing with Dak. CD looks like a star. Amari's a star. Dalton Schultz has been a huge, huge factor in this passing game. And you got Zeke and Pollard, the offensive line. I think Dallas is going to beat them, and I think they're going to beat them up pretty good. Trust me. Like I said, I don't want to see Dallas ever win, but this Dallas team is legit. And that's coming from a passionate Giant fan. That's just me being honest. This is a legit team. I think Dallas is going to beat up on the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all right, could Mac Jones – I think Mac Jones could keep them close, but it's all going to be on Mac Jones to do it. And
that would be great if Mac Jones is the reason that Joe loses his best bet this week.
Wouldn't it be great?
Picked against your own
Wouldn't
boy.
it be perfect?
Let me explain this to you. Here's the reasoning behind it. One of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to sit there and watch Matthew Stafford light up this Giants defense, and my heart's going to be broken, but at least I'll be like, win the best bet. Or the Giants will stifle Matt Stafford. They will put him on his back all game. They'll pick off a couple passes. They'll steamroll that defense. I'll lose the best bet, but my Giants will win.
You win.
You see what I'm doing here? I got to win. It's a win-win situation for me.
It's like fantasy football.
I will enjoy this Giants football game one way or the other, and this is how I'm going to do it.
All right.
Or they both lose.
Yeah, or like
an
unlikely scenario, but certainly one that's on the table.
I always like it's like fantasy. Like you can lose fantasy, it's all right, but if your team wins, that's all ultimately the main thing. But if you lose fantasy, both leagues or how many leagues you are, and your team loses, that's a miserable Sunday.
Rough week.
And we've had a lot of those this year. So
yeah, well, not me. I'm winning fantasy, so.
Oh, I'm nasty in fantasy. I don't need to worry. So. I got nothing else to root for.
All right. Sean, you got a road underdog. You think they're going to rally around giving Gruden the boot?
I do. That's one of the sole reasons I picked this. I feel like this locker room is going to come together. Obviously, I think they're pissed off at John Gruden. They're going to come out and show that they're still a good football team and that they didn't need John Gruden. Obviously, they've had rough past 2 weeks, but so have the Broncos. So I just don't think the Broncos are going to put up enough points to win, cover this by 3.5. So I'll take the Raiders here. I think that Derek Carr is going to get the job done. The Broncos have a good defense, and obviously it's tough to go into Denver, but I think this Raiders team is going to rally around it. And the Broncos have not looked good the past couple of weeks. So even if the Raiders end up losing, I don't think it's going to be by a lot. So this is my best bet, and I'm going to go to 4-2 next week. Speaking it into existence.
All right.
I love it.
I'm not mad at that. All right, Zay. Started off hot. You're on a little bit of a skid.
Sorry.
Is Minnesota gonna bring you back?
Interesting.
I would hope. Obviously, this is a weird pick because Minnesota isn't by far playing and impressing anybody this year. But I've told you before, the Panthers are going to fall off that cliff, and I think that cliff, they've already reached it. The last 2 weeks, they've gotten handily beaten by the Cowboys and the Eagles. And I think it will continue this week. I think the Vikings will probably not put a beat down on them, but at, a point given, I think I can afford to risk that bet. So I'm going to take the Vikings here. I think they'll beat up on them. Even if they win by 3, it's enough for me. So I'm going to have to take them on this one and even out and get back to, 500 and come back for the top a week after. No stress over here.
Yeah, all right. Now, Trev, you just messaged me.
Bills? I'm big on the Bills this week. I think the Titans are very, very overrated. I think they're not a good team. I think that defense is very, very vulnerable. Derrick Henry is once again proving why he probably is the best back in all of football right now, doing his thing, King Henry. But this team is very, very questionable. They are probably going to win their division because their division, just like the NFC East, is a garbage division right now. I mean, the Colts are 1-4. They should be 2-3, but that's why bad teams, they find ways to lose. Good teams find ways to win. That's why the Giants are in situations that they are. Bad teams find ways to lose. And the Texans and Jags, do I need to have any other explanation for that? No. The Titans are going to win this division, but the Bills are going to beat up on the Titans. They're not a good team, and we're going to finally somebody's going to see that the Titans are just an average ass team.
5.5.
I'm saying it with confidence too, because the way that the Buffalo Bills went into Arrowhead, I don't care. The way you go into Arrowhead, I know that defense has been atrocious this year, but if you could go into Arrowhead and a venue that is very tough to win in and do what they did and took care of business handily, Tennessee should be no problem.
Yeah, the Titans defense might even be worse.
Dallas, this offense is clicking too. If they could just ever establish a run game, good luck stopping this team.
But do you think Derrick Henry can eat up the clock enough and keep it close?
No, because I think this defense is just as good as any defense, maybe the best in the game. So it's going to be a great matchup in the sense of Derrick Henry against this defense. That's the only way that Tennessee stays in this game, is if they can control time of possession, they can keep that offense off the field, and they rely on Derrick Henry. I don't know if Julio's going to play. He's been a major bust so far for the Tennessee Titans. We were thinking this team was going to be excellent offensively. It's been anything but that, other than Derrick Henry. Yes, it's Derrick Henry or die for the Tennessee Titans. That's what it comes down to. This Bills team is legit defensively. It's going to be a great matchup, but I'm comfortably saying that the Bills take care of business.
All right. And
I got Josh Allen in fantasy too, so I expect big things.
Okay. All right. And also before we get to that this would be your first win if you get it.
Of course.
You were 0-1 last for week 1 on your.
I was bad. I was in week 1.
Yeah.
Who did I pick week 1?
I don't know. I'd have to go back.
Pick with your eyes closed.
But yeah. All right. I got the Cardinals. I understand. I think the Browns are a little bit overrated. I mean, Baker Mayfield isn't great. The defense is solid. I don't think it's necessarily too like elite level. I think it's on that cusp. I don't know, but this Cardinals offense is just gonna be too much for this Browns defense, and I don't get why the Cardinals are 5-0 and underdogs here. I understand it's on the road.
Because it's the Arizona Cardinals. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Let's be honest. If this was the Patriots, we'd be like, oh, well, it's the Patriots. We've become accustomed to it. But with the Arizona Cardinals, we're not accustomed to seeing a team like this being 5-0. They haven't been 5-0 since 1974. It's the Arizona Cardinals. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Maybe after this week, they'll get the people's respect.
Okay, but it's the Arizona Cardinals against the Browns.
I mean, the Browns are
solid.
If you're going to use it's the Cardinals logic, it's the Browns.
Yeah, but the Browns should realistically, I mean, if they don't choke in the 2 games, that's all I'm trying to say is that they should be also almost 5-0. They should have been the
Browns
Chiefs.
like they're going to play a college team, bro. They're still a professional team on the other side of that ball.
But if you're going to look at history and go it's the Browns.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the sense that it's like the new kid on the block. You just got to get used to it, and you got to give it some time to roll with, and that's what it is right now with the Cardinals. They're a new kid on the block. I mean, look at the teams. The Bills. Oh, we expected that. The Buccaneers expected that. Chargers. A lot of people had them as dark horse, and then you get like the Packers, good team. Dallas. We were expecting this in the sense of what they can do offensively, but when you see the Cardinals.
Every year they say Dallas going to win.
No, but look, just hear me out. I'm just trying to finish the point. Then you see like the Cardinals, they're 5-0. You're like, aren't the Rams or Seattle or maybe even the 49ers supposed to be 4-1, 5-0? Not the Cardinals. So it's just the new kid on the block. We got to get used to it, and you got to let time be, and then we'll start to get, and then we won't have people complaining and saying or being shocked about it. Okay. That's why I say what I say.
All right, yeah, I get it. But the Cardinals going to get it done on the road. They are just a better team than the Browns. Plain and simple. Cardinals are the class of the NFL right now. There we go. Now, let's take a look at fantasy locks.
Of course.
Boom. Zay, you're first.
Seriously, Joe? Seriously, Joe? There's got to be a rule for that. You can't pick the same person.
He loves Derrick Henry. Don't ever go against Derrick Henry.
Well, I don't even know what happened. How did that even happen? I wasn't aware that we had picked the same guy.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you didn't. I got to go back and watch last week's show. I don't think you picked Derrick Henry.
No, Joe had to bounce.
No, Joe had to leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, dang.
Joe had the same best bet as Sean and the same fantasy lock as Zay.
Jace, can I ask you, every time I come on this show and I see fantasy lock and then I see Jace's compared to everybody else.
Because I was so dominant. I had to let them. I did Gronk and Michael Carter back-to-back weeks. I was ahead by so much. Yeah, I just had to let them catch up.
You put the pedal to the metal. Forget about everybody else. If they stink, they stink.
No.
Move on. I'm not giving them a chance.
I want some fun. I want some zhuzh.
I want domination.
I want competition.
When were you ever in the lead?
When was I ever in the lead? Before I picked Gronk. I had Aaron Jones. I had Josh Allen. I had Tyrod.
I picked Tom Brady. We went for like 60 points. What are you talking about?
That was last year.
Yeah, Jace, because you started to finally learn that the fantasy lock is you pick good players. You don't pick Colt McCoy or Jameis Winston.
Almost won with Tyrod Taylor.
Almost counts in horseshoes.
Yeah,
and grenades in atomic warfare.
All right, yeah. Well, I got the SpongeBob Square pick for you all. There you go. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna get my lead back, and then sure, I'll put the pedal to the metal because I just want to win. No, I'll keep.
Do you not want to win?
No, I want to win with. I want to win and look good doing it. I want to win with the Michael Carters. I want to win with the Tyrod Taylors.
Well, why not just win?
I want to win every week with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
When were you winning?
I was winning the first 3 weeks.
Before we picked. Okay.
James, with the way your head is, it looks, you haven't been winning a lot actually because you shaved your head. You're not winning with that.
Right. Every time I make a bet, I lose. But other
Stop
than that,
betting,
I'm
Eddie Mush. Stop betting.
Maybe.
Isn't he the best, you guys? Come on.
Where's your shirt, Trev? It's been years. I put a pie in my face. I wore a Ohio State shirt for you. I shaved my head. And you still haven't won your.
I know. I'm still waiting for my shirt, but I'm actually coming up in a month, so Joe better have the shirt. I'm a large, Joe, and I will wear it.
He's a large now.
I just the shirt was there was a bet a year ago that I lost. Let's just say that.
All right. Ooh, Joe.
It's a Biden Harris shirt, and trust me, I don't want to wear it, but I'm gonna do it. But I haven't been able.
So good in that shirt.
Wait,
people are gonna think
the bet wasn't what I think it was.
Oh yeah, it was a bet. Oh, it was Derrick. It was the Tennessee Titans versus the Ravens when the Derrick Henry won in overtime, and the bet was at the time it was around October going into November. It was a presidential vote or a bet. So, hey, it's okay. We don't have to get offended if we mention names. It's okay, guys. We'll survive. We're guys. We'll survive. We'll make it. Okay, don't get offended.
All right, Joe. Matt Stafford, you already talked about it. Just
this is great. This is a great pick for any Giant fan. You can cheer for Matt Stafford if it's
just
going.
Just put the whole Ram team, Joe. Just put the whole Ram team.
Yo, like I said, with your luck, the Giants will pick up their second win. Matthew Stafford would throw 3 interceptions just to make.
Yeah, but you heard Joe earlier. You still win because the Giants.
I'll be screaming my face off with every interception.
I'm okay if we all win. If Joe loses.
No, that's fine. This is the best win-win scenario for me this week. This will make me feel good because I haven't felt good in a while. I deserve this.
But what if Matthew Stafford gets injured on the first play?
Why would you say that? I don't want to see nobody get injured, especially a guy like Stafford. I don't want to see him.
If Matthew Stafford gets hurt on the first play, the Giants will win the football game.
I still don't think they can do it at that point. I don't know.
Probably not. Who's the backup? I don't even know. I don't know, but he's better than
John Wolford versus Mike Glennon. What a match!
Oh yeah, no, actually, John Wolford is pretty solid. I do remember him coming up in the postseason.
Mike Glennon's your boy, Joe. All right.
Mike Glennon is not my boy. I made one joke that I liked him throwing the football.
Well, you're stuck with it.
Yeah,
like you're stuck with it like I'm stuck with the Jets. That's what it is.
You guys remember when I played his highlight reel? Trevor and Teddy got all pissed. I'm like, let me just run. You guys got to see this. They thought I was being serious. And it was a highlight reel of him throwing pick sixes and getting strip sacked.
Yeah.
For 2.5 minutes.
It was bad.
I don't like Mike Glennon. I'm not even kidding. When the Giants signed him, I was like, did I wish that into existence?
Joe,
I didn't mean to.
Joe, that highlight video is almost as bad as Gary Sanchez's highlight videos.
Nothing's as bad as Gary Sanchez.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Oh, let's.
Joe didn't appreciate that one.
Joe's getting upset.
Gary. Gary's his favorite player of all time.
Modern day Yogi Berra.
All right. Okay. Let's get back to football.
Here he comes. Ooh, I like it.
Oh,
I like it. My boy Najee.
Glad I did make that pick. I'm glad
he's playing against his own team. No, but yeah, I don't know why I have to do this segment. I've been getting blown out in fantasy locks this year. I think you guys have like all doubled up. I have 77 points on the year, so I'm switching up the strategy. I've picked all QBs and receivers so far, so I'm going to a running back. Hopefully, this gives me a little momentum. Najee Harris has looked really good the past couple of weeks. The Seahawks defense is not great. So hopefully Najee Harris gets me some points and gets me back into the race. The way it's looking right now, it's probably not likely because I suck at fantasy locks. But I'm gonna risk it all with Najee.
So you picked Najee. I need Najee. I have Najee on my team, so this is bad luck for me.
Yeah, why would you do that? He's on my team. Yeah, my fantasy team. Why would you?
Well, hey,
he's gonna do well. You're gonna get a lot of points. You're gonna catch up. What's wrong with you?
The new strategy is gonna work. I'm just gonna pick running backs and tight ends from here on.
I like it.
Okay, all right.
I like it.
Zay, Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, another guy on my fantasy team. He's been solid. And as the fantasy leader, it only makes sense that I continue to add to this lead. So, as you know, I got to lead something until I catch back up in bets. So, Jamar Chase will go off this week, probably another 30-pointer, 20, somewhere between 20 to 30, somewhere like that, and continue to boost my league and push me to the 200s. So, I'm not really worried about it.
All right. Yeah. Jamar Chase is going to get it done. And, Trev, I know you weren't on that graphic, but looking up at the stats, your season total is 15. Week 1, you picked Lamar Jackson. This week, you're going Tyreek Hill.
Yep. This is a week that you expect Tyreek Hill. Had 15 points last week, but this is against the Washington team. Overall, that's god-awful, and we all thought this team was supposed to be Super Bowl caliber defense, but it's been anything but that. This secondary, very vulnerable. You picked Patrick Mahomes. It's a great pick. I would have picked him too. But that's an obvious one. So I go with the second obvious guy. Tyreek Hill, you know he's a home run threat any time of the game. And he had an all right week, but you know how he has these 15-point games and he'll bounce to like 30, 40 points. I'm expecting him to have that type of week against the Washington football team.
All right. I know Zay just had a big week for Zay. Who'd they play? They played
the Chiefs?
The Ravens.
Who?
Huh? Wait, what?
No, when did Tyreek Hill go off?
He just a couple of weeks. I mean, he had week 1 with 30.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When I picked him, I don't remember.
Oh, the Eagles. Yeah.
Eagles. Yes. And it wasn't a SpongeBob Square pick because they had the same record, according to Zay.
Now it is. Now it's a square pick.
All right. That's going to do it for John about the G-Men. Thanks, Trev, for joining us. Make sure you check out Keys to the City. And thanks, Joe, Sean, and Zay for always. But, yeah, and make sure you sign up for Mosquito Shield, mosquitoshieldct.com. Make sure you tell them John about the G-Men sent you. Get a discount code for the spring and also get the tick shield services for the fall and the leaves coming down. And also make sure you check out www.clovercrestmedia.com for not just more about this podcast and Keys to the City, but a bunch of other podcasts, political podcasts, true crime, not just sports. Go check it out. That's clovercrestmedia.com. That's going to do it. Enjoy the games. I mean, Giants game might not be too enjoyable, but still, we're all going to try and enjoy it. So you might as well too. We'll see you next week to talk more Giants football. Until then, take care. The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Burn, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.